So today we're here in the Lucozade Sports Hub with Damian McKeever from Amphibian King, and he's going to talk us through the importance of footwear and clothing for marathon and long distance runners. Thanks very much for coming, Damian.
No problem.
So what tips do you have for marathon runners when they're looking for a new pair of running shoes?
I suppose the important thing is to try them on. You'd be surprised how many people come in and they just pick off the shelf and say, I want that one, or that's a nice colour. So the shoe needs to feel really comfortable on your foot. It should be in a proper store where they'll do some sort of gait analysis to make sure it's the right type of shoe for you. So they'll have a look at your running to make sure you have the right amount of support in that runner.
And how many miles would a running shoe usually last for?
So I suppose as a general guideline, when you're changing shoes, you want to get roughly about 500 to 800 kilometres out of a pair of runners. That kind of varies greatly on your own weight, first of all. So a big heavy guy obviously is going to wear them out much quicker than a very light girl. If you're running on grass, you're going to get much longer out of them. If you're constantly hitting the road the whole time, you're wearing down the EVA, the midsole foam on it.
So what kind of mileage should a runner do in a new pair of running shoes before race day?
The ideal scenario is you'd have 100 kilometres on them before the marathon. As I said, if you're getting towards kind of 500, 600k, it's probably towards the end of their life anyway. So,
what is the importance of insoles for marathon runners?
What we do is we have a look at people running to see what way their foot lands. And when we're doing the kind of video analysis, we'll see if they need support on the inside, the medial side. If they do, we'll get them into a shoe that has a little bit more support in it. If they're more of a kind of supinated runner or a neutral runner, we might get them into a slightly more cushion shoe. So it is really important to get you into the right type of shoe for yourself.
So what kind of recommendations would you have for runners when deciding footwear and clothing on race day?
I suppose it's really important that you don't change anything, so you don't want to be doing anything different than what you normally do. So obviously the runners is a key thing. You want to make sure you've worn the runners on your long run, so you've done a 20-mile run with those runners on. But actual gear as well, clothing is really important. Depending on whether it's raining or not, you need to know what you're going to be wearing, but ideally the top that you're wearing and the shorts that you're wearing, you need to have worn them before for a long run. There's no point buying something new at the expo and trying it on race day. It needs to be kind of tested and proven. Technical clothing obviously is much better. It doesn't hold water very well, so even if it is raining, a nice technical t-shirt will wick the water to the outside, won't hold it next to your skin.
There's been a lot of people talking about racing flats in the lead up to the marathon this year. Are these mainly used by elite athletes, or can beginners use them as well?
You really want to be doing very kind of serious time, so really certainly people going sub 3 hours will be looking at racing flat. Any longer than that, the shoes are very light and it's a long time to be on your feet. If you're going to be out there for certainly for 4 hours, you probably don't want to be wearing a racing flat. It's a little bit too kind of minimalist. You want something a bit more cushioned.